World's Junior moments of the game. James Miguel Rojas at short heads-up play as this hot shot gets to him, and Vlad Jr.'s cut down at third.
Another big play by Miguel Rojas in Toronto. You know, that ball's under the legs of Vladdy, kind of right in front of him. You're not supposed to go on that. Vladdy even did a little peek back. I think he's just caught no man's land. But guess what? When you're facing Ohtani, you're trying to do anything you can, right?
Absolutely.
So, great play by Miggy Rowe right there.
Let's head back to Rogers Center in Toronto and hear from the skipper, Dave Roberts, with Kirsten and the media.
Dave, first just with Shohei Ohtani, he talked about how, today did feel like a grind for him. What were you seeing just from how he started this one and how he was able to navigate the deadline and push through and really kind of end on a higher note when it came to his outing?
It was a grind. You can see it. He just didn't feel synced up with his delivery. You can see by the misses. He was fighting himself, the entire outing. But obviously the compete comes into play, the stuff comes into play, and, he found a way to get through 6 innings, giving up 1 run, and pretty impressive, to be quite honest, with given, how he felt. And, you're not going to feel great every day, but to his credit, he found a way to, give us length and exit with a lead.
Did it feel like this game as a whole was just a bit of a grind offensively, defensively, as well as on the mound?
I thought, early on, obviously, we let Cease off the hook, getting doubled off. And, he didn't have his stuff early, and we gave him an opportunity to get back into the game. Gave those guys life, and then, right there, then it was like we had some opportunities to get some hits, and we couldn't cash in. And, after Shohei's outing, there was some bad walks by the guys in the pen, and, unfortunately, they led to runs.
Do you think if Will had to do it all over again, he would pocket the ball instead of throwing it to second with Schneider at third in the 8th?
No. I think that, it was a ball that I know that, Miggy would love to have back and hold on to. That's baseball. That happens, and there's no one more sure-handed than Miggy. But yeah, I thought it was the right play. The guy wasn't going, and if he holds on to it, he's out.
What did you think of Miggy's defense all day?
Fantastic. He played great defense, and getting the Sanchez ball and getting Guerrero out at third base on the tag play. The ball, too, is coming in. I mean, there's just a lot of plays that he made that kept us in the ball game. So he played a heck of a ball game.
How big was it for Blake to come in that spot and be able to navigate around Guerrero to get those other 2 batters? Does that seem familiar to the guy he was a couple of years ago?
It does. It does. And even the stuff is up. And I think I saw some 97s last night. And for him to be the fireman, come in and get a lefty out or a righty out to limit the damage, he gave us a chance. And so that's, more of who we've seen for many years.
Are you happy with this road trip, winning 5 out of 6?
Absolutely. I think that if we'd started this road trip and said, would we bank 5-1? Absolutely. So, but I think, when you win the first 5, you want to get greedy and win the last one. But yeah, it's still a really good road trip, and we get an off day and get home and, get back to it.
Andy's been so good as of late, just the strikeouts today. What did you find that was missing for him offensively?
I don't know. I think that, I think Cease made some really good pitch to him. It's really, when that guy's in the strike zone, he's as good as anyone. And he just seemed to make good pitches against Andy and Teo. And, he's still off to a great start. But I guess it's just one of those days that we probably won't see again, 4 strikeouts.
Can you walk us through what happened in the first inning where there was a little bit of miscommunication or conversation about the amount of time that Shohei is getting in between innings? I know we saw something like this during the World Series here, but it seemed like Springer was asking the umpire, like, how much time is he getting? He seemed a little bit frustrated. What was the dynamic there?
You know what? I think just talking about the World Series, obviously they were a little frustrated about, how long Shohei takes, in between innings. But if he's on the bases, there's got to be some grace, which I think the umpires are trying to give him. But yeah, I mean, if you're on the other side, you're trying to rush him as much as possible and treat him like any other pitcher. But the truth is that he's different, and so. But I understand their gripe.
Shohei said he had some fatigue because of the end of the road trip, and it was kind of day game-wish. Is that but like you guys gave like enough day off. Is that something the team is going to consider next outing or following?
Yeah. I think that we've always done a good job of giving him ample time to get ready. So, yeah, he'll get a week off for his next outing.
All right, the Dodgers dropped the final game of this 6-game road trip 4-3. Let's go right back to Rogers Center because Will Smith is speaking with Kirsten and the media.
When it came to Shohei Ohtani today, he was saying that he did feel like he was grinding, just kind of on the mound. What were you seeing from him, especially just kind of how the stuff was playing and how he had to kind of work through those at-bats?
Yeah, I thought he pitched well. I think it was more just grinding through his command. He was kind of all over the place early. He kind of settled in later in those later innings. Yeah, stuff looked good. Just kind of the command today, which happens. I thought he did a good job competing and, limited him to 1 run.
Did it feel like just as you were kind of, even with him, the bullpen, that in general, this game kind of just felt like a grind when it came to the pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. We kind of put it to them the last 2 days, but they're a good team. They put together good at-bats. Their pitchers were throwing the ball well today, kept them in it, and, yeah.
When you have a situation with runners on the corner, like in the 8th, like kind of what's the read on those plays, and was that kind of, you look back on like the right decision and just kind of the wrong result there?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. That play is called from the dugout. We thought he could get an out right there, and then big out in that situation, obviously. Yeah, a little bit of throw would have got him.
With the ABS challenge early, did you think Shohei was going for it on the mound, or was that one?
It was just one. It was a high target, then he pulled the heater down. I thought it was there. Yeah.
Not seem to have his usual command today.
What's that?
Dryer when he came in.
Yeah. They hit a couple sliders. Just couldn't get it down. Was leaving it up. Yeah, I expect bounce back out for him next time.
Just knowing what Miggy was going through today, what was it like to see him pushing to be in there?
Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, it's there's nothing worse than losing a family member like that. So he's going through emotions. He's going through the process of recovery and all that, and healing and processing that. So we're here for him. He seemed all right today. It's always good to have him out there on the field.
All right, so it's a great trip for the Dodgers. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, a little bit of frustration, not capitalizing on more opportunities, feeling like they had maybe let one get away here in the series finale. You go back to that 7th inning, and we have a really long postgame show, so we have time to break down every element in this game. But the Dodgers are up 2-1. Will Smith, an RBI single, makes it 3-1. Freddie at the plate hits this ball to Vlad Jr., and Kyle Tucker's on third base. James, he doesn't score. I mean, I know it's a really tough play for that runner on third base to get a read.
Yeah, I think what happened was the ball wasn't hit that hard. So as a runner, you're like, okay, it wasn't hit that hard.
Yeah.
I may have a chance, but where he was playing at, he was kind of in between. He wasn't all the way far back. Yeah. He wasn't all the way in. But what I thought, the momentum that the momentum was taking him towards first base. So I thought Kyle Tucker did have a chance right there. It would have been a tough play for Vladdy. Yeah. He might have even thrown it, off his back heels.
So clear it wasn't a contact play at that point, right ahead of time.
It definitely was not a contact play. If you pay attention where he is as far as the leadoff, if it's a contact, you're leaning forward into the pitch, and when the contact is made, you go. He was not leaning forward. So if you see right here, see him not leaning right there. If you look at the left side of the screen there, it was a see it through. Yeah. So he got the instruction from the third base coach, which came from Doc. We're seeing the ball through. So the minute the ball's on the ground, you do not go. Your reaction is to stay. And yeah, the play ended up being a very tough, awkward angle for Vlad. He would not have thrown them out. But when you are told by your third base coach and that it comes from your manager, in this situation, we're going to see the ball through, he is following directions. And I know a lot of fans are going to look at that and be like, oh, he should have gone, he could have scored. He would have scored if he would have gone on contact or if it was even in between. But the infield was in. Yeah, Vladdy was not on the grass, but he was just a couple steps on the dirt. Because it was Freddie as a left-handed hitter, you're not going to be on the grass because you can get, hot shot right at you. And the ball was hit on the ground. So as a runner, you're freeze. That's your job. You're doing your job. Unfortunately, it ended up being a ball that he could have gone and scored if he wouldn't have listened to his coaches. And we would be talking about something else, but he's just following directions. He did his job. No blame to Tucker at all.
All right, the Dodgers come up 1 run short in Toronto in this final game of a 6-game East Coast road trip. Freddie Freeman And the Blue, they're still heading home with a 5-1 record on this trip. We will take that every time. More reaction coming up.